It just is, and it's fine. Well, he's the real leader,
Yep.
and that's why if you notice something, Petey, anytime we talked about trades, I have never brought up Jermaine Johnson's name.
I still think they should give him the 5th-year option, even though a lot of people, some of the reporters think that, it's a little too rich. I would keep him and then try and, give him, less. I don't think Jermaine Johnson's going to get a $20 million per year deal, but
Yeah,
he's in that like, you know, 12 to 15, 20, like 12 to $16 million range, in my opinion. But go
look,
ahead.
I get it, but at the same time, this regime doesn't know him like that, and they have no ties to him, so they're gonna want to see what happens this year.
I agree. Terrence, go
I
ahead.
guess we still have to. No, we got to still wait for him to, I guess, to give him his 5th year option in May, which I hope they do, because he's coming off an Achilles. I don't expect him to be gangbusters right away, but I hope as the season progresses, he gets better. But yeah, I agree. I liked him a lot. He had what might what do you call it? What Will McDonald, the type of season he had from year 1 to year 2, I was expecting him to have this
Mm,
past year, but he blew out his Achilles.
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Like if both of them are at the edge, and we see if they kind of change their defensive philosophy, because they like to blitz a little bit more. I just don't know who's on the team right now that's going to blitz from the linebacker position. Like, I mean,
Quincy Williams.
like we got.
Quincy.
That's probably, you're probably right there.
Hmm.
That and you know uh so, or if there's somebody that they're going to be taking, like with that in mind, as time goes on. But yeah, sounds good to me. But yeah, so all good, you know. But yeah, I hope he has a bounce back year, because it could really help that defense. It's just we have to find out, like, whether it's in the first or second, in one of these rounds. Defensive tackle is supposedly one of the strengths of this draft. We got
Yes,
to get one to pair in the inside with Quinnen. Yeah.
yes. Mark, good morning.
Oh, hey. Good morning, everybody.
He
How
said,
we doing?
"Don't."
June, don't start laughing.
Because Mark,
Oh, what are we doing?
Well, Mark, you haven't, thrown out a wild take yet. All gas, no take.
Ground, what's up, Ground?
Oh wow.
Good morning. Are we gonna be?
All right. Okay, hold on a second, please. So,
Oh boy.
here,
Oh boy.
so
Oh.
folks that don't host and co-host spaces, I want to talk about something here for a second. Uh, if you've ever hosted or co-hosted or accepted a co-host invite, there's a delay between when you receive the invite, when you
Yes.
accept
Yeah,
it,
yes, you
and
are right
then
about that.
right? And then when you can actually respond and you like, so Petey says all gas no takes, and here I am tapping my phone, the mute button to get off effing mute to respond to the claim, and I can't do anything because I just accepted the co-host, so I got to sit here in stunned silence on the space, and I'm yelling. Thanks, Pete. That's great. That's great, Petey. I appreciate that.
Wait,
2 years.
wait,
How long have
wait,
we doing
wait.
this
Don't.
together?
Yeah, but don't, Mark. No, don't blame me for that. The way you react is not my fault.
Oh
Oh.
I don't know,
wow.
Mark. I guess the zingers come as
No,
soon as you get the co-host.
listen.
That's
I've
what it
been
is.
telling Mark. He's been, Mark and I have been on total opposites for the most part lately. But it's nothing.
Yeah, yeah,
It's nothing
yeah.
Mark.
personal. It's just,
It's
Mark can
encouraging. It
fire
is
back, and I
encouraging.
don't
Mark.
care if Mark fires back.
Mark.
It's
Just
encouraging.
Mark,
All
just
right.
so you know, Mark, this is what happens when you become friends with Italians. You just
Oh.
come right back
Ah,
around. You
ah.
Wow.
just come right back around when you're not
So
looking.
we're doing that. All right.
Stop
Well, I'm not gonna.
stereotyping,
Yeah.
Ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that one alone. What I will say is, I mean, I know we've been accused of being an echo chamber before. I know it's an old accusation, but I'm fine having spirited arguments and disagreements and standing on islands, which I do on the rig. I'm fine with it. You know. Uh, Yesterday I said, and I stand by it, that I don't think Justin Fields is the guy. Not for the Jets. And uh, some people agreed, some people disagreed. Some people thought to educate me on the fact that the way I wrote it implied that Justin Fields isn't a veteran. Okay, that's great. I'm glad you made your point. Um, you know, I can see you're the
Educated's
kind of
crazy,
guy.
bro.
Well, it's it's the kind of people you don't. You know what? I don't want to do that, but um, I'm
See,
not going to do it. I won't do it because we don't.
see,
We're not supposed to do that.
see, can I say this real
So
quick? Can I say this real quick?
yeah,
Of all the free agent quarterbacks that will be available, you have Aaron Rodgers, which we know he's not coming back. You have others like Derek Carr. You know,
Wait, but is
you
Derek
have
Carr released, June? Sorry.
no,
I like how you said that. We know
but
he's
he's
not coming
probably
back, June,
he's
when really the Jets showed him the door, is what you meant to say.
yeah. Well, once again, Mark, as you remember, I kept saying, you know, Aaron Rodgers is the least of the problems of what went wrong last year, but at the same time, he still, nevertheless, he was an issue, and that you trying to install a new culture, having him there, it just wouldn't work. So that's the reason why I say move on
Wait,
from him.
June, can I say one
At the
thing?
same,
It
sure,
was not on my bingo card for you to mention Aaron Rodgers in the space today. So
I appreciate because look, I don't even mention the guy's name, but I'm having this kind of conversation with Mark, so we're trying to clear it up real quick. Now, when you're trying to do the culture thing, and and you gotta polarizing figure like that in the locker room, it's not good. So, not to mention he's not the future. He's not the future. So why even go along with it? Now, so once again, once you take him out, you can say Derek Carr, but Derek Carr is going to require too much money, and he won't be the future. So why do that? So inexpensive choice
well,
option
Can I
would
say
be
how
something about
how
Aaron
old
Rodgers,
is how
please?
old is Derek Carr? Hold on one
Derek Carr's
second.
in his 30s.
Yeah, Mark, what? Aaron Rodgers is still going to be talked about years from now, but it's over, man.
It's over.
Oh, I'm going to talk about it
Oh
because,
man.
and here's why I'm going to talk about it. Because
Oh boy.
here's why. Because a lot of folks are still fixated on what he says off the field, content, the appearances on McAfee, all of the cosmetic bullshit that I could care less about. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is production at that position from a player that's the quarterback. I care about that because, in my mind, you need stability and performance and production out of the quarterback to win football games. Excuse me.
Mark, take a drink of water.
So,
Production like 28 touchdown passes production
look,
wise.
I'm
What do you
just
Ground,
mean?
but
saying.
ground. Hold
I
on,
know.
though, Mark. No, this is what I was going to
What did
say.
it get us?
Yeah,
What did it get
we
us?
were
I know.
losing
Here we go
40 to
again.
nothing to Buffalo. It was embarrassing. Where was
Yeah,
Rodgers that
Okay.
game?
exactly. Look, against all the good teams. Where
Uh,
was he? Where was he against the
you
good
guys,
teams?
The
I'm
only
so
team was
glad.
Houston. We only beat a
I'm
winning
I'm
team once.
confused. I'm confused. Are we boxing fans? Is this a tennis space when I look up at the jumbotron?
No, it's
Is
not, Mark.
oh
John
oh
John
wait,
McEnroe's
it's
not in here.
football.
Serena
It's
Williams isn't in here.
football.
You
There's
can't
a
be
53-man
serious.
roster. There's 11 guys on the field for three phases. I remember seeing defensive collapses. I remember seeing missed kicks. I remember seeing the Jets drive down the football field and be like, man, okay, they couldn't punch it in. All right, field goal, gimme.
Mark,
Great.
can I ask
Oh,
you
guess
one
what? He
question,
missed it.
Mark? Mark, did
Yes.
Aaron
Hey
Rodgers make
Pete.
anybody better on offense?
He made Alan Lazard better.
When did the Jets Alan
Oh
Lazard?
my God.
It's
Mark,
true.
wait,
Am I
He
hold
gave
on,
wrong?
you an
Mark.
answer.
When healthy.
Wait. All right, let me do this. Mark, to
Hey
be
Pete.
fair, and I
How
loved
did
Rodgers. Yes, Ground.
Hey Pete, how did Tyron Smith get called for a holding penalty on the 1 yard line?
That's
How's that
different.
possible? How's
I
that
don't know
physically
because he held
possible?
them.
You're on the 1 yard line.
He held
It's
them.
unbelievable. Otherwise, they beat Buffalo that game.
Mark,
There's, you know,
Mark, did you could say Garrett Wilson had a career high in yards by what, 1 yard? He didn't make all of
and
us,
touchdowns.
oh, please, all of us thought Garrett Wilson was
Oh,
going to beat
please, it's
his
true.
ground. His numbers weren't even close to what everybody. We had a space predicting how many yards Garrett Wilson would have. 1,350 people were saying. Some people said 1,500.
Well, maybe he would have. I mean, he also dropped a lot of passes
Oh,
in the
come
beginning of the
on.
year.
That was more.
It's
Can
true.
can I say something about Garrett then? I'm glad you
It's
pivoted to
true.
Garrett. I'll get off Aaron Rodgers. I was thinking about, and you were talking about that Texans game. I was thinking about that pass, and I rewatched it, the catch in the end zone. What made that catch so special, and I've been thinking about this. I could think of like two other passes or catches that compare to that. Just two. Because if you really watch Garrett Wilson's catch on that, he's actually like he's turning the balls on the opposite side of his body and he one-hands it. Like he rotates it. It's an incredible catch. And then having the wherewithal to get inbounds. Like there are maybe two other catches I could think of, like the Justin Jefferson. Was that one over Buffalo? Where Justin Jefferson skies and like he
What on
gets the ball. You guys know what I'm talking about? The sideline catch?
The fourth down catch?
Yeah, it's like insane. He's just up over it was an incredible catch. I'll
Mark,
have to go find the
watch
clip of
doesn't
it.
defy
And then
Rodgers'
OBJ.
season with
Oh,
Wilson, though, to be
get
fair.
over Aaron Rodgers, Pete. I'm talking about
Mark,
Gary Wilson.
Mark, I'm
Okay.
not Mark. I understand that, but
Yes, go ahead. Oh, no, Pete's in the blender. Look, I'm just saying, you guys that think that whatever Garrett should walk and the rest of trade him and whatever kind of nonsense. I just think folks can't identify good talent anymore, good players. Or maybe you're just butthurt over what happened last year
Mark,
and the performance and you're angry. You're like, oh, get this guy
Mark,
out of here. I don't understand.
Mark,
The top
that's not the
15 wide receivers.
Oh, the
He
3 or 4
has the
teams coming
lowest
in.
catch. He has the lowest yards per catch.
lowest.
Okay,
What?
and you had
He
Aaron
does have the
Rodgers to bring
lowest.
him back.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, like my thing is for the Bowers boys to go tangentially. Why do you need Brock Bowers when you get the same stats from Garrett Wilson? 100 catches and 11 yards a catch.
All right. So the 3 to
wow.
4 win team spoken on this. You know, you guys know the kind of comments I get from fans of other fan bases that come in here to listen to, they're like, oh, I wonder what's going on with the Jets. And then they hear us talking about, oh, maybe the Jets should like, oh, Garrett Wilson's overrated. He's a 2 right. Dude, they're looking at chops. Can you imagine what Garrett would be doing on other teams? Like, come on, man. He's one of a few special players on this football team, and folks treat him like he's leftovers.
I treat him as a guy that catches
That's
11
not an
yards a
argument for me.
pass.
How you treat him, Terrence?
I just remember a ton of games where. Go ahead, Terrence.
No, let ground go.
I just remember a lot of games where it felt like Garrett would catch the ball, and there'd be 3 defenders surrounding him. It just seems like they either knew the routes we were running, or I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know.
that was Nathaniel Hackett's great offensive plan they had.
It just seemed like. I think that's a big reason why his yards per catch were down. I remember there was games where he averaged 7.9 yards a catch. He had 12 catches, 12 catches for 87 yards or something like that. It's just like, just the offense
Do
as a
you guys
whole.
remember the Zach Wilson Cowboys game where the Jets could do absolutely nothing on offense?
And Garrett Wilson.
The one play was the pass that he split the defenders and got a touchdown. Yes, I remember. How come
The
that
only
doesn't
game
happen
around
in
the
every
field.
game then, huh? Why does that happen once in a 3-year season? Tell me.
Terrence, so you think it makes sense to cut bait with Garrett Wilson?
I say that if he wants to go and you get a first and a third for him, you think about it. Yes, because
100%.
yeah, that's all.
A hundred
But
percent.
if the licking the chops fan base and the GMs that are listening anonymously say, oh well, because Terrence and the 34th team want him to go, we're only going to give like a first rounder or a second and a fifth. Then no, I want to. I'm not giving him up for scraps. But again, he also wants. He also seems to want to go.
Facts. You can't hold a
all
player,
right.
man. You can't
Let
hold him if he doesn't want to be there.
Well, that's not
this
true.
is
No, but
okay.
why
But
would you?
he
Why
hasn't
would you
came
want to
out
do that?
yet.
No, 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 no,
This
no,
is
no,
what
no.
Lamar,
Just hear what I'm saying.
Jackson,
Just hear what I'm saying.
June, Lamar Jackson wanted out, and he was
No, no, no,
much
no, 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 no,
he
no,
didn't
no,
want
no, no,
out,
no, no,
He
no,
Brown.
no.
wanted
No,
money.
no,
Yes,
He
no,
he
wanted
no, no. He
did.
wanted
He
money. It
requested
was
a
about
trade.
money with him, and he held that,
Okay.
and that's what he got.
So what is it with Garrett
I'm
then?
so glad that the 3 to 4 win team is reading Garrett Wilson's journal on his bedside table, and they can tell
I'm
us
citing
insight
Rich
into what the man
Samini's
is thinking.
reporting. I'm citing Rich Samini's reporting
Oh,
because
so Samini and
I
Garrett are
don't
tight?
just listen. I just don't listen to Mark Torres talk for 10 minutes about can I say something. I listen to other podcasts.
All right, can
Terrence.
I say something,
Wait.
please?
Oh,
Terrence, 10 minutes
I
is a
got something to
stretch,
say.
man. Come on,
I got something to
that's
Terrence.
say
right.
here, Pete.
That's right, Spider.
First
You don't take
thing,
no shit from nobody.
all right, good. So the first thing I want to say is, first of all, please don't hate on the other listeners in Anonymous. There's a whole mixture of folks down there.
You are,
Sometimes we get members of the press in there that don't
you are,
necessarily want to come up and be invited to speak.
Like
Sometimes it's
like
other
like
like
Philly
content creators and
Lombardo
stuff.
says, we're
I don't
anonymous.
hate on Anonymous. I'm done hating on Anonymous. They can attend and listen and be part of it however they
I
want
thought
to
we
do it.
had a name for them.
I just thought that
No,
they might it might be
Come
one of
on.
it
Let
might
me hear
be
Mark's
if
point here,
yeah,
All
go
right,
please.
so
ahead,
you've
let him
called
go,
the.
let him go.
I'm
All right,
look,
giving
so
him.
the.
I'm
All
just
right,
telling you.
we've been listening to Mark for 20 fucking minutes. Okay, go
No, it
ahead.
was. The space hasn't even been open for 20 minutes,
Okay,
Crown. So
18
I'm
you're
just
wrong
minutes.
telling
again.
you.
You're
I was
wrong
just trying to.
again.
Holy. I was just trying to tell you about the messages that I get from fans from other fan bases that are football fans and smart football fans that are like, "Are you guys really talking about flipping? Like, is that legit? Does your fan base really think that flipping Garrett is like that smart?" And I'm like, "Look, man, the fan base is going through it. They're struggling. There's been a lot of losing, and they're flailing. That's what I have to tell them. So I don't just so people listening, their opinions are their own. So not the opinions of the space, not of the fan base as a whole. It's individuals arguing and talking about football. That's all.
But
All
I
right,
thought we did have a
Mark.
name
The
for the
20
anonymous.
minutes. Yeah, Mark. The 20 minutes is over. Somebody else
No,
talk.
I'll go
it's
on mute.
it was 2.5 minutes. That's
Yeah. No, I want to.
Wow,
I want to.
wow.
I
If
want to.
Terrence is counting, that's.
No, I'm only
Woo.
joking. That's it. No, he's a co-host and he makes good points. He has a right to, but I just wanted to counter the point that I pulled this out of my ass, or because or that he took the Jets off his Instagram account, which I guess is the thing that Gen Z does or whatever.
James
But
Cook did too, by the way.
Oh
yeah, yeah.
Lord.
But I'm telling you that Samini supposedly said that people that are close to Garrett Wilson said he was thinking about seeking a trade,
So
and
wait a
maybe
second.
yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm
I thought
just
you were
telling.
done.
No, I'm telling you what he reported on his pod. So that's what I'm going by. Not. Oh, I see him going nuts on the sidelines. I know he wants out. It's not nothing like that. That's all.
He took the Jets off his Instagram.
So I
Garrett.
don't know. I don't know if they did or not. Yeah, I'm just
Oh.
saying that I think either that or maybe I conflated it with Quinnen basically closing out his Twitter account or whatever it is. But I heard something. But again, it's like I don't care if he does or he doesn't. Like didn't Lamar do that with the Ravens until we got signed him? It's the same crap, you know. It's like I'm just going by the reporting that Rich Samini said. And if, they could have sat down and talked to him already, like they did with Rodgers. Like I said, when Rodgers got out of that meeting. Maybe Garrett Wilson was sitting in the waiting room and it was his turn, or whatever. But maybe they flew Garrett in on on another day, and they said, "Look, you got some issues. Let's hammer them out. Let us tell you what we think." And frankly, you control the guy for 2 years plus a franchise tag. I am not signing. I'm not giving this guy an extension right now. That's what some people want, I've heard in the past couple of
I do.
weeks. Yeah, well, why would you do that? They didn't do it for Jamar Chase. And look what
They
happened.
I
He
think
came
you
back.
do it.
they but they did it for Quinnen, didn't they?
No, Quinnen
Benjamin
was in his
Blanco as
fourth
the
year.
interim.
He was
Oh,
in his
was
fourth
he?
year. This
It
is
was
Garrett's
after his
fourth
fourth
year
year.
coming now. Yeah, they did it after. Yeah, because remember, Quinnen came. I guess what did he come the year after the year before Zach Wilson, or the year before?
2019 or 20 with McCagan. It was
Yeah, because
McCagan's pick.
I think he was the pick after Darnold. So if Darnold came in 18, then I
It
think
was
it was 19.
19. Yeah, it was. And
Hey, June, I have a Jets trivia question for you.
Wait, Benjamin, hold on. Benjamin Blanco's trying to get in here. He's
Hey
he's
Benny,
expecting
what's
to come
up,
Yeah,
on.
man? Benny, good
June,
morning, brother.
can you tell me,
Yeah, good
Benny
morning.
is
Good morning,
Benny
bro.
is burn it down, Benny. That's what it is.
June, June?
Nah,
Hold
so
on a second, Benny. I have a
yeah.
trivia question for June. Who
Oh
has
Brown, the
more?
co-host, asked for Benny, and you're jumping through. It's not
Listen,
trivia night.
you did a lot today, Mark. Just take a seat for a second.
Ask
June,
Grant.
who?
All right, I'm putting
Oh,
him
can
down
I
to
say
listener.
something?
June,
Can
what are
can
you
I put
doing, sir?
Grant in timeout?
I'll tell you. You put me in listener. I'm out for the day. So
Ground
don't
asked
mess
it.
with me.
Is it a 10-second question?
No, let me just ask the question. It would have been done by now if you
Go
guys would have
ahead.
shut the hell
Go.
up.
Oh yeah, damn.
Okay, so June, who has more career interceptions, Brandon Eccles or Sauce Gardner?
Brandon Eccles.
I know
They
the
both
answer.
have the same. Well, he has more. He has more per game, but they do have three career interceptions each.
Here we go again.
Let let ground run. Go
What
ahead,
does this
ground.
have to do with the
Look,
conversation, though, of what we're
Plus, one
talking
of
about?
those footballs was signed by Tom Brady.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, Mark, don't
Get,
move ground down.
Oh,
go ahead,
No, I'll leave him
thank you.
alone.
go ahead, Benny.
Go ahead, do that. Go ahead, do that.
Yo, in terms of trading Garrett Wilson, listen, I get it. If you get a haul, I guess you got to think about it,
Absolutely.
right? Like you kind of have to. But if you really think about it, bro, this team lacks so much talent. We have so many deficiencies. We have so many different holes, bro. Trading Garrett Wilson isn't the fucking answer. When you look at our wide receiver room, we have Garrett Wilson, really good, high level NFL wide receiver, and we have Gibson, who's an XFL wide receiver, and Corley, who's a super question mark. Not gonna give him a grade yet. And we have no one else. I'm not trading Garrett Wilson, and regardless if he wants to be here or fucking not, this year you're on the New York Jets. I'm not even entertaining the bullshit. You can sit there and be mad, pissed, like whatever the fuck you want to do. You're gonna play for the New York Jets this year. Like I love Garrett Wilson. I believe he should be here long term. Is he a top five guy? Is he Jamar Chase? Is he Malik Neighbors? No, he's not. But he's a fringe. Like at his best, he could be a fringe top 10 guy, a true number one wide receiver, and that's fine. Like you could win a lot of ball games like that if you have good quarterback play, a good offensive coordinator. Like a lot of things need to fall into fruition. And yes, his catches, like yards per catch, aren't phenomenal. Like there's a lot of things that are left to be desired. But I think you put him in an actual offense, he's gonna thrive. I truly believe that. He's done a lot with a little up to this point. And when you look at what's going on next year, and we could all probably agree that the quarterback of the future isn't going to be solved this year, and likely they're going to try in 2026. I'm sick and tired of whatever young quarterback we bring in, giving him dog shit. If you really think about it, we gave Sam Darnold Robbie fucking Anderson as his number one, and we said go do something. We gave Zach Wilson Corey Davis and said go do something. Fuck that, bro. Give me a proven guy, and I want not even just Garrett Wilson. If Ted McMillan falls to number seven, you draft his ass too. And next year you get whatever fucking quarterback you get. You say you got a Garrett Wilson going into year five, who that's gonna be your
Yep.
proven number one. You got a big body
Building
wide receiver
blocks.
in Tech McMillan. and boom, and then at that point, whatever running back you have, or offensive line seems to be solid, and on the right trajectory, or whatever tight end we get, like that's how you build an offense. You don't build an offense by trading away Garrett Wilson, and next year you give your young quarterback another version of Corey Davis and Robbie Anderson, or whoever fucking loser we've been throwing out there for the past 5 years outside of Garrett Wilson. So that's my mission. Like you gotta find a way to figure it out with Garrett. You got to.
I agree.
I'm on board. I think T Mac is Ted McMillan, and it's a big body guy for the folks that are like, oh, Garrett's not a number one. Listen, if you want an X, like a prototypical X wide receiver, and you feel good about Ted McMillan, you say, okay, look, we're going to put him opposite Garrett, and they bring a different physicality to it. You want that sort of contested catch, which Garrett can do contested catch. He just does it differently. Um,
Yeah.
that's great. I like the pairing a lot. And Benny, to your point, I am sick and tired of giving. To your point, I'm sick of young quarterbacks having nobody to throw the ball to, and then they get run out of town because they don't have either play calling that understands how to groom a young quarterback, or they don't have the talent out there, or a good run game or protection. Like you need build an offense, please. You just
You hope
scrapped everybody. New
you,
GM, new head coach, build an offense, please.
you hope that this GM and head coach realizes that one of the reasons why they couldn't develop the previous quarterbacks is because they didn't really surround them with players. And at this point, whatever quarterback they identified that they want to develop, at least Wilson will be not only an established player in the NFL, but he'd be like an established Jet. Like it will be something very important, I think, to develop a quarterback, and hopefully they realize that.
That's the argument for extending him,
Yeah.
Brown, and that's why I think that they should. And it's not.
They have to,
And
Mark.
well, let me make the case for it because I know folks want to flip him for whatever for scratch offs. Look, the argument for extending him
Scratch
is
offs.
it's true. Think about it. Look, where's Malachi Corley? Okay, his grade in Benny's list is an incomplete. Like we don't know what the guy is. I don't know if he could run a route
You
tree.
don't
I don't know
even,
what
you don't even, Mark, you don't even have to go to Malachi Corley. I could give you Justin Blackman, Troy
oh, please.
Williamson, Laquan Treadwell. I could give you like 30 friggin' receivers that were taken in the first round that were complete busts.
Who was a bad pick by the Bears? What was Kevin White?
Yeah, Kevin
Was that his
White. He
name?
never even caught an NFL touchdown, I don't think. It was brutal picks, man.
But the point is, if you don't feel comfortable paying Garrett based off of past production, I mean, the other part of it is, listen, he's had consecutive 1,000 yard seasons since he's been a Jet, and people then will then say,
Agreed.
"Oh, it's so easy to
Agreed.
get 1,000 yards." And look, in 18 games, fine. You know what? I watched Garrett actually play the games and not just watching the stats. Okay, I've seen him be really the only option. I've seen him in space make things happen. I've seen him cook some of the best corners in football. Like I've seen him be a really one of our best wide receiver talents since I don't know what. Um, certainly better than Corey Davis. They really didn't
Mark,
have
he's our best wide receiver talent since Keyshawn Johnson,
Yeah, so look.
in my
Sometimes it's
opinion,
just time.
that we drafted.
Yeah, and listen, he's a good kid. He's got no off the field issues. He's got like in a New York market, it's been very difficult for him. And if you listen to him talk from the podium, it's tough, man. It's not easy coming from a college championship program. Then you're in the pros, and your team sucks, and the media keeps grilling you and needling you about how bad the team is and what they need to do. And you're like, how much ducking and dodging can you do before you're like, I'm sick? Like, really read what Jermaine Johnson wrote. And he mentions a lot of things in there. And it's not just the fans. He mentions the media too. The environment in New York is tough, man. It's a lot of losing. And you'll say, oh, well, they're paid to know how. Listen, man, losing gets on you, man. It can wear on you. And I think Garrett is a special talent.
It's Mark. It's part of the fans now. Everybody's like, a lot of fans. And
He
listen, I'm
doesn't
on
know who's
the other
throwing him the ball
side, but
either. Like, Garrett doesn't know who the
Mark,
quarterback is.
yeah, Mark. A lot of fans are out on next year already. I'm not on 4-13. No way. And I
Well,
like
these
what Jermaine
moves,
Johnson did yesterday.
these moves,
No, I get
yeah,
it. I get it, Mark. But I mean, everybody says Rodgers wasn't good or whatever. So, okay. So we get a quarterback with almost the same production. Why not? Rodgers didn't make anybody better this year. That's my opinion.
not
Sorry for
Lazard.
bringing him up. Mark, Lazard
I
stinks.
know he stinks, but he got a bet. You asked, did he make anybody
I
better?
mean, Mark, is Alan Lazard going to be on the team next year? The answer is
No, that
no.
whole package, the Lazard, whatever,
No,
the
Mark, we're
triple
just
threat
asking for
of
the whole.
Rodgers, Adams, and
Yeah,
Lazard are gone. I mean, the only way you keep
but yeah,
Adams is what? Derek Carr?
I don't know, Mark. I don't think Derek Carr is going to be here. By the way, tomorrow I spoke to Lee Sean. We're going to do an AFC space in the morning. From like 8 to 9 or whatever. Showtime. You can come up. You're more than welcome. Pete's Takes will be in. Some Patriot fans.
Reginald.
So, yeah. So, do something different tomorrow. Tom Ford. Go ahead.
Morning, fellas. How y'all doing this morning?
Good, man. Sorry I didn't have the intro.
Don't
for
worry
you.
about
I'm
it,
driving.
Petey. Petey, it's okay there. We're driving to Jim Lee Jets Commute. So, seeing the original topic, I'm glad Jermaine Johnson is excited and, again, wants to be here, wants to prove himself. And seeing the topic again as being Garrett Wilson. I'm definitely would say Benny Blanco had it right. What he says, like, what else are you going to do otherwise? Because I know June has been in the past about, like, with disgruntled wide receiver, but that's just creating another hole unless you get the biggest haul we have, like a Herschel Walker type deal or Jamal Adams type deal, somewhere in between that range, frankly. I don't see that happening for Garrett Wilson, as talented as he is, but we haven't had, a wide receivers first 3 years have 1,000 yards each, and that's with subpar quarterback play, to put it kindly. And even with Aaron Rodgers, not tossing as much as we expected and we hoped. I mean, he's got talent. We have his rights. Hate to say it, kid. He's probably the one they're going to have to exercise the franchise tag the most on, frankly. Because if Aaron Glenn fixes Sauce, I think Sauce will want to be here. Clearly, Jermaine Johnson wants to be here because he wants to prove himself. And that core four. And I mean, running backs, we could always figure if that's the dime a dozen. Maybe Brees bounces back, maybe he doesn't. I mean, end of the day, we need to see what they're going to do to even fill out 4 options to even possibly remotely consider what haul I would remotely entertain if for Garrett Wilson, for those saying, get a haul. We got all these holes to fill. Because 3 weeks from today is when we can officially sign anyone could sign free agents, tampering a couple days prior. So we're 3 weeks away from that. So I'm expecting in the next, not next week, but 2 weeks from now, from us to start hoping, plotting our wish list, have it be more public on that. Because for the draft wise, like same with the wide by receiver at 7 from Arizona, McMillan, or if I'm butchering his name, sorry with that, because I'm starting to
Just
study
call
my
him
draft.
T-Mac.
All right,
T-Mac.
T-Mac, just like Tracy McGrady. Okay, Gen Z T-Mac for me. All right, we'll call him T-Mac. That's fine. Like if it's T-Mac and Wilson, I like the odds with even Tyrod and later round pick quarterback, or if Jordan Travis remotely was healthy. I take my chance with that, at least to say, hey, a building block, something to happen, and still be in position to chips. Because if I'm not mistaken, if under Salah when we were 7-10 or 6-11, we still were top 10, and with other picks, that still could be enough to move up in the quarterback heavier draft next year. I'm not 3 or 4 win team. I'm expecting, depending on how free agency and draft shaken, I'm expecting 6-7 is the likely. That would I love more? Absolutely. But as we
But
get through the season,
Tom,
we'll get
real
there.
quick, Tom, fans are going to say, like, oh, then we're going to blow, having a chance to have a top pick or whatever. You don't even know who's going to be. Like, I get it that all these guys are coming out, but you don't know. And again,
I know.
everybody
I remember
misses on
suck for
draft
duck.
picks. Everybody, not even. Go ahead.
Yeah, I remember in post-Rex or in between years, I remember being a stadium for suck for the duck when it was Mariota, when it was him and Jameis, and they have been respectable NFL careers, but they're not franchise careers. like you said, Petey. You know, so it's a crapshoot. I know that. I mean, Josh Allen's position with that, I just trust that we put in the right offensive coordinator that's going to evolve from a passing coordinator to an offensive coordinator, and hope that works for when we do get the new quarterback when that time comes. Can
Yeah.
you guys hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening, Tom. You hear me?
I hear you. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't sure because of
Tom, here's
a
my
pocket,
thing. I get it. If we're going to be bad this year,
right?
Pete, you there?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had a
Pete, you kind of
call
just got cut
there.
off. Yeah.
I just had a
What were you
call.
saying, Pete?
No, no, I get it. If people think we're going to be bad next year, and I've seen tweets that there's going to be a new head coach in 2 years here. Like
I know, I've seen them
I
too.
mean, no, I'm not on board with that because it's the same old Jets again. And I know people want change, and we want to build a sustainable winner, but I mean, if we're bad next year, then you got to draft a quarterback. Then it's another year for a development of a quarterback. To me, there's no hope for another 3 years, and I'm not on board with that. Sorry. That's the way I'm going to think of it right now. And oh, well, if I'm wrong, who
I,
cares? It's not the first and not
I
the
think
last time.
Would you rather try and get 8 and then go back and keep trying to get 8? Is that a better plan?
But it depends. I don't know what they're going to do. Like if they sign a Fields this year, just say Buckeye. And what if he hits? You don't know. If he hits, then we have a problem, a good problem.
What's the problem part of it?
yeah,
The
a
problem
quarterback
is if he
controversy.
doesn't hit,
He's saying
yeah,
no.
but
He's
hear
saying
me out though. If we
you
draft
said
the
if he
court,
hits. No,
oh my
Pete,
gosh.
you're answering a different question. You said if he hits, then we have a problem, and then he goes, "What problem?"
Well, okay. If Fields hits, then you got to decide: are you going to pay him long term, or do you franchise tag him?
Why wouldn't you? He's
Which
That's a
25 or
good
That's
problem.
26.
right? That's right.
yeah.
So
You have
whatever
what the
it is.
Vikings had this year with Donald and McCarthy.
Right. Now, here's my other thing, real quick. Let's say the Jets, because they should bring in a veteran. It's going to be Tyrod, a veteran, Travis, and if they draft somebody, are the Jets dressing 4 guys as quarterback? No way. So who's on the bench? Travis. So he's not going to develop. So is there a point
I don't think.
of even keeping Travis?
Right. He's a non-entity, man. That's a JD pick. That guy's not going to be on this team.
Uh, Benny, go ahead and then jokes. Good morning.
Yeah, bro. Like in terms of the QB plan, I know Buckeyes with it, bro. I think their best option is going with Fields, regardless, bro. Like obviously we know his limitations as a passer, and yeah, like I don't think it's a guarantee that it is gonna make Garrett Wilson happy. Uh, but if you look up, if you really look at it, like the Steelers won games with him last year, right? Like it wasn't exciting. They weren't scoring a million fucking points a week, like a game. Like they asked him not to fuck shit up. Excuse my language, but and he went out and did that. You know what I'm saying? Like Justin Fields is a good quarterback where you get him on 2 years. You see what he does this year. He allows you to be competitive, I guess, a scrappy team this year, and you kind of roll with it, right? And if you're bad, you're bad. You draft a quarterback next year, whatever. Like your rookie quarterback isn't forced to play anyway because you have Justin Fields for a few games. Like whatever the case may be, bro. Like I think Justin Fields is just a really good option, a solid option actually, and he can use his legs. You can do some different things with him, and then you roll with it at that point. I just don't want to go with our Kirk Cousins, who we've seen how bad he was. You know what Kirk Cousins? Well, not that you know, but like he might be a better passer, but you've seen it, bro. Over the last month of Kirk Cousins' playing time, he threw 9 interceptions to 1 touchdown, and the
Yeah.
touchdown was lucky as all hell. So I'm done with like,
Benny, can I make a point on Cousins real quick? Just real quick.
yeah,
I'm with you, but I wasn't with Cousins. But if he's going to cost $1.5 million, it's and the guy's gonna, he's going to be more healthy next year off of the Achilles. It takes a while.
no, no,
I don't think it's a bad idea. Honestly, I don't.
So,
I was way opposed to it. Now I wouldn't care.
so if he
Honestly.
wins you
for
8,
the money, yes, like I understand the money aspect of it, but like I don't know, bro. Like when you look at it, he's also we're complaining about Rodgers being old and shit. Kirk Cousins was never mobile ever, 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 ever.
Correct.
And then realistically, Kirk Cousins is what 36. Like if we're really doing that route, stay with fucking Tyrod. Tyrod's
Bingo.
also 36, could throw and can move a little bit even better.
Yeah,
Like
I just
obviously.
don't want Benny. I brought it up yesterday, and then jokes come in. I don't want, if Tyrod is the starter, I don't want a lot of RPOs with Tyrod because I want him to be healthy. And I remember to play against the Giants. Tyrod got out of the pocket, and Mosley, unfortunately put him out of the game. And then Tyrod was done for the year.
This is going to sound weird, but it's not about preservation of his health next year, bro. Whatever.
I get it.
I know that's a bad statement, but like that's not the goal of next year. Let him play he's got to be moving around.
Yeah, I agree. That's how he looked good in getting out of the pocket. Jokes, go ahead, man. Morning.
What's up, fellas? Good morning. All right, so
Are you in the rampage mode, jokes? Because
no, I'm
all right, good.
very calm. But here's my I don't want to say issue, but here's my thing with Fields. You already have the finished product of him now. Hold on one second. Somebody came in.
Oh my god.
All right, we could talk until he gets back.
Okay.
I'm back
Brown.
too, Pete.
Oh,
Petey,
great.
I don't understand.
Oh,
Wait,
Here we go.
Buckeye,
one
1
loss.
second. Mark,
I'm sorry.
Mark, jokes, 1
Go ahead.
second. Mark, thanks for the 20-minute talk and then the 20-minute break.
Sorry, somebody came into
Go ahead,
somebody
Jokes.
came into
Can you give
my
us
office. My bad.
Can you give us another 20-minute break? No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Jokes is talking. Grant, come on, you're good.
Ground's trying to be funny. It fell flat again. Anyways, we kind of have the finished version of Fields right now in Tyrod. Now I know he gets hurt. Like I get it. Here's my issue though, and this is the truth. So we brought in, and I call him Eggman because I butcher his name. All right. So Eggman comes in. He's a Ben Johnson disciple, right? It's a very nuanced offense that has a bunch of option routes that like the quarterback and the receivers need to be on the same page. It's an intricate offense to the point where you heard complaints from Dan Campbell, right? I think Ziggy was saying it the other day that they were having they wanted the offense to be a little bit more streamlined, right? The problem with a guy like Fields is I still think that Fields is living off of like 2 years ago when he rushed for 1,000 yards and he threw for like almost 3,000. And I think that what you want, in my opinion, this year to be is you want the foundation to be set for next year. You want this guy to come in and install his offense without any limitations, without if he was a first round pick James Daniels was this year, I get it. You tailor your offense to him, but we're talking about a first time play caller, a first time guy coming in. You kind of want him to come in and install his offense. And I'm not saying that Kirk is the answer. He's just cheap. Derek Carr is probably getting cut. He's cheap. You need a guy, Tyrod. I think Tyrod would be able to run the offense as well. I just think that you need a guy to come in there to allow this guy to call plays the way he wants to get the bugs out of his system. Basically, to kind of get ready for the quarterback that is going to be yours. Yes, I heard you say before, Buckeye. What happens if he comes in and he does well? That's a good problem to have, but you already see like Sam Darnold was, and we can argue back and forth, but what we can't argue with was towards the end of the year, he was a MVP type player. He was in the conversation until the last week of the season when he shit the bed, right? Maybe he was 5, whatever, but he was there. What are the Vikings doing? They're getting rid of him. Why? Because they drafted a quarterback last year. They don't believe in him. Somebody else is going to pay Darnold $40 million a year, and it's probably going to be a mistake. So I get it, like the tiredness of losing, and I get it, like you're worried about, Glenn having a. Nobody's going to be mad at Glenn if you don't win this year. People are going to be mad if you have no plan. If at the end of the year you're like, well, what the fuck happened? The offense, there's no direction. The defense is worse. People are then going to be upset. If you show direction, I don't think people are going to be upset. Just my opinion.
Just
Jokes. Let me go ahead, Buck.
uh,
Well, I have one question,
go ahead, Petey.
real quick. But go ahead. Jokes. The salary point, like for Rodgers, can Rodgers sign for big money, like the Jets? Because the Jets already paid him. Is it?
I
Is I don't know this.
I
I'm
don't
asking you a
I
question.
don't I think because we already paid him is dead money. Like I don't think we what do we owe him this year? I don't
I
remember.
think
Like
the
50,
cap number was like
not the cap, but
a lot.
the cap and what we owed him was different.
23 million or something. 23
You would have
million
to
at least.
tell me what was his salary for the year
I forgot.
because the cap and the salary we're paying him is different.
What now? Cousins is getting the money because he was
Because
already paid.
because he's owed the money. It's guaranteed,
Okay.
but it's owned. We
But
didn't have any more guaranteed money with Rogers. I think Rogers is going to go somewhere, and he's not going to cost a lot of money.
all right, fair enough. Buckeye, what's up? My bad.
The part that I'm not understanding is the Cousins and going with a veteran like that. What position does it put us in? I don't see how that gives us direction.
The direction would be Buckeye is that this guy. I'm looking at a prototype of a Jared Goff, right? Like
Yep.
in that where like it's going to be like if Garrett sees this coverage, this is what he's supposed to run. Cousins will see it now. Will he be able to get him the ball? I don't fucking know. I don't know
Yep.
that.
That's
But
fair.
it's not about you know it better than a lot of people. It's not about the outcome of the game this year, in my opinion. This year, it's about the process.
I agree.
If Garrett sees this coverage and it's the right sees this what they're running and options to the proper route, the quarterback is just shitty and doesn't get him the ball, but the process is there. The line blocks, everybody else blocks. He does what he's supposed to do, and the quarterback isn't good enough. That's process. It's still it might result in a loss, but the process is still there. I want to see that. I want to see identity. I want to see like what are you going to do? And if the quarterback wins, all right, awesome. If he doesn't, good. Like to me, that's the process that I'm talking about. It's really not wins and losses. It's about like is is Brees Hall hitting the right gap? Is our tight end being pulled into the B gap, and is he kicking out the actual end, or is he kicking out like that's the process that I'm looking at. It's kind of more nuanced and X's and O's than instead of like kind of scoreboard watching. I get it. Like you're saying, if you bring in Kirk and you win 3 games, what like does that? It's a different feeling. Like we won 5 games this year.
I'm more worried if he wins 7-9.
I,
That's
I don't know if he does. I he's coming back from the same injury that Rogers has. And Rogers, you can tell when throwing the ball, like sometimes he didn't have. And Kirk, you saw it last year, he was throwing fucking meatballs. So like it's an older guy coming back from an Achilles. I just look at it as like he's $1 million. And if Derek Carr gets cut, he's $1 million. Like it's yeah, you might be paying him
So
just as
what?
much.
You wouldn't? All right, you wouldn't mind Jokes a car for like a 2-year deal?
I wouldn't do a 2 year deal. I don't think they deserve a 2 year deal. I don't think they're going to get a 2 year
That's
deal.
fair.
And
By
then
the way, I saw
and you're
Andy
kind
Dalton signed. Did you
you're
see Andy Dalton
no.
sign for
Put
two
it to you
years?
this way, Pete. If they take a 2 year deal, $20 million, you're spiting your new team because that means the Saints don't have to pay you. You get what I'm saying? Instead of the Saints owing you that money, that gets deducted because you're getting it off of the new team. That's why they're going to be so cheap. You can't double dip. If you get cut from a team and they owe you $50 million, and I sign with Green Bay for $10 million, well now they only have to pay you $40 million. You don't double dip. That's why those guys that get cut are cheap because they're still getting paid from their old teams. Why would you hurt your team that you're going to?
Yeah, that's true.
It's
If
tough because
anybody
I think
else wants,
Fields played well. I think
go
Fields
ahead.
played well last year, but that you there are I don't know if their staff is going to be able to develop. And after being so long, like this kid has had shit coaching from when he got drafted. And even last year, like, is Arthur Smith like the greatest fucking offensive mind? I don't know. I mean, he might be okay, but the best time he ever had was with a finished product in Tannehill. Tannehill was developed by Gase, whether you like it or not. So, like, can he develop Fields? I don't think so. But there's nothing to say that we can at this moment either. So let this guy run his offense. Let this guy install his offense. Let him see what his deficiency are next offseason. So when we draft a young quarterback, if it is a Sellers, he's going to know, well, we're going to have to scale our playbook back because he's not ready for that. You're asking him to do it in year one. I think it's a lot. And then you're setting up whoever you draft next year, or even if you draft somebody this year and he sits, you're setting him up for failure. I want him to run his offense with no restrictions.
That's fair.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I can't argue that. I mean, that's not even arguable. That's a good point. I don't know, man. I just think jokes. Listen, I know it's different, but these players, man, going to games and stuff, they're not going to be in for that
Listen, man.
negativity shit, man. There's
Listen,
going to
man.
be booing like crazy, bro.
Listen, man. I don't think so, man. I don't. I think that they were just
So wait,
tired of
you don't
Salah.
think yeah, but you don't think Jeff fans are going to boo them next year if they're
I
not
think
doing
that
good
I
at
think
home?
I think because he's a former Jet, I think because of where the team was last year, but with who they're trotting out at QB, I don't think Jet fans are that dumb.
Well, jokes. I never thought Jeff fans would boo Aaron Rodgers, to be
I,
fair,
I,
and I don't want to.
when you're 5-12, Petey, in the fourth year or third year of Salah, and you're opening that, you promise and you look and you say that the Super Bowl looks kind of lonely, and then your first full game get your shit pushed in by the 49ers on national media. Yeah, like, it's gonna happen. Like, Aaron Rod people, and this is why I tweeted this out, and I firmly believe this. Jet fans act like Aaron Rodgers won his 4 MVPs here and a Super Bowl here. He did absolutely nothing here other than get hurt and win 5 fucking games. He doesn't have rope. He doesn't have cachet. He's not Chad Pennington where, like, you rooted for him to get up off the ground. He didn't spill any blood here. He's just a
Jokes.
mercenary.
I'm going to be funny. He won 6 games. I'm
Yeah,
being
of course.
sarcastic.
Yeah. No, the Bills, because he played one snap and then never mind. We haven't had an identity on this team, and you can go back to, like, when Rex Ryan was around. You didn't have an identity under Bowles. You played good defense. That was it. You didn't have an identity under Gase other than you were a fucking laughing stock. And with Salah, your identity was the guy who runs up and down the stairs before a game. If Glenn wants to win, and he wants people not to care, build an identity and then start to win. And people are not going to care. People are starving for a
But
winner.
jokes. What
These
if they just say if they win though this year? What if they do win? What if they win 7, 8, 9 games? Are we
people are
ahead?
being people are going to be ecstatic because
Right, and then
you've built a foundation.
okay, and then to
Wait, the
your
same
point,
people are going to cry because they're going to lose out on the quarterback at 26.
but
What
but
about that
but hear
part?
me out. This is where I was going, jokes. Just hear me out
Go
here.
ahead.
To be fair, okay, I don't know what the plan is, but if you have 100 and something million like the Patriots do now, I know the Patriots have their quarterback, okay, but they're not getting T Higgins now. But you have
Can
a
I ask
ton of
you?
money.
Can I
Go
ask you
ahead.
a question?
Yep.
Is there a significant difference with you bringing in Kirk Cousins for $1 million, Justin Fields, or whoever you want to put into that slot,
No.
or
I,
paying, or
go ahead.
winning 7 games with Aaron Rodgers and owing him? And it's not just him, because that means you're probably keeping Devontae, blowing up the cap this year and next year. You don't think that there's a significant difference of stripping
Yeah.
it down and winning
Uh,
7 games by grit, or
yes,
bringing
there
back
is.
this? Okay, well, that's the
No
answer.
joke. No jokes. And listen, I told Dom
Petey,
yesterday.
at that point, if you win 7 games, you sell everything, you mortgage everything to go get your quarterback. You trade next year's first, the fucking year after that. You
Yes,
trade your
but
fucking
then
dog, whatever you
right,
need to
but
do.
jokes, but don't you after 7 wins, I'm just saying if they win 8 games, I'm just saying, don't you
I,
expect better than next year? You can't
I,
take a
uh,
step back.
you, you need to then you draft your quarterback. You're probably bringing back whoever was the quarterback, and then you ease that quarterback in. It's all about when we say sustained success, it's not a year, it's not 2 years. You want the Ravens. Okay. You don't even want the Steelers. The Steelers are stuck in mediocrity as well. They just go to the playoffs and get their doors blown off. You want the Ravens. You want the fucking Chiefs. You want the Bills. You don't want to be the seventh seed every year and get your fucking teeth kicked in. You want more. So whatever you need to do to get to that point, do you want 1 or 2 years of like happiness, or do you want 10 to 15?
I mean, the latter, what you just, you know what I'm saying? But
So that's whatever. I don't have the answers. We're just people on the internet talking.
right, jokes, but
They
don't,
need
but
they need to figure that
right,
out.
jokes, to be fair, and I can go on for you with this for
Russ,
that I understand people want long term success, but then everybody goes back to the old same old Jet mentality, including me. Like, how do we even project we're going to build
he
a winner? Ow, it
you
hasn't
you you
happened.
you 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 you. I don't know. It hasn't happened doesn't mean that it can't happen.
No,
The
I know
command
that, but
the
why
command
now? Why? Well,
I don't know.
right.
You don't
Jermaine
there is
Johnson
no
saying blind
no.
faith.
Well,
I have blind faith for next year.
Jermaine's just been here. I love his optimism. He's a young kid and he's not jaded. Sorry, but I could care less about what Jermaine Johnson has to say.
I I get it. He's probably going to be a captain
You
this year
you want
for the team.
how's this? You have young kids, right? So do I. I want my kids to be able to go to school and not get made fun of because they're wearing a jet shirt or a Jets fucking whatever. Like I want them to like we haven't been able to be proud of this team in fucking 10, 20 years.
Well, jokes. It's funny you said that because yesterday I was at basketball with my oldest, and he's 8, but one of the fathers asked him because he was upset about the Chiefs because he was rooting for the Chiefs, and he says the Chiefs, and then one of the fathers asked, "Oh, who's your favorite football team?" And he said the Jets, and my eyes lit up. So, I
Yeah.
mean, he likes
Should
Garrett Wilson and
should have told
Sauce.
them to get ready to learn pain.
Well, I mean, he'll learn pain in the preseason, not during the regular season when I take him. So,
Yeah, it's fine. It builds character, Petey. So I
well,
tell my son, it builds character.
good talk. Benny, what's up?
Yeah, nah. So, nah, I agree with everything that you're saying, jokes. Like you've been spitting, and I'm gonna say this, and it's not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be too popular. But if it does come down to trading people, I don't think we're gonna trade anyone this off season, right? Like it should be a quiet off season. That'd be fucking fantastic for a change. Instead of all the hoopla and the leaks and the fucking social media bullshit, like that all needs. You need a quiet off season for a
You know what
damn
else though,
change.
too, Benny? Why I got you? You just I'm water in and water out. What you're saying is true.
Yeah,
DJ Reed's going to sign like a pretty big size contract. He's going to give us a nice comp pick for the following year. Like, do
yep,
things that are not going to affect the future. That's all I'm trying. I don't
yep.
like. That's the gist of it. It's not if you
We'll probably get a third
yeah,
rounder, right, for him?
correct. And he signs a big deal, which he's expected to. Like, if you trade Justin Fields, you affect that comp pick the following year. Like, that's another reason why, like Kirk or like any of these bums that get cut, it's not even messing up the comp formula. Like, live in that pool this year.
Yeah, but jokes is it to be fair, is a Justin Fields just say 1 year deal for 10 million with incentives going to affect the comp?
Good. It might knock it from a third to a fourth.
Well, right, but they didn't even pick up the fifth year option on Fields, so I don't know how that works.
He's not getting.
That's where I'm
He's not cut though.
confused.
The only way that
Correct.
you
Okay.
don't mess with your comp picks is if you sign free agents that weren't cut, it affects the I don't know the formula, man. So whatever the formula is, it is. But you want the people that are leaving this team and going to sign in other places. You want that not to affect your comp picks next year. You want everything. You want all your resources next year to get a quarterback, whether you suck really bad and it's there, or you have to trade assets or picks or whatever the fuck you need to do. But that
Yeah.
should be your
I didn't
goal.
even.
Yeah.
Curtis, I didn't even see your
Sorry,
hand up.
sorry,
Go
Benny.
ahead.
No, you're good, bro. No, real quick.
Man, you didn't fall asleep, did you? My bad.
You good,
No,
man?
real quick.
Go ahead, Benny.
Real quick. You need, like, we need a quiet off season, bro. Exactly for what Jokes is saying. Like, before it was all the fucking Rodgers stuff, fucking hard knocks, all this, all the fucking week back to back offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. Like, it's been a lot of hoopla every fucking off season. We need a quiet off season for a change. And like moving forward, like with Glenn being a cornerback, I know some people want to trade Sauce. I don't think that's realistic. Like next year, if there's anyone that's going to be traded, I promise you, it's going to be Quentin Williams. Quentin Williams probably doesn't make it past next year. I'm keeping it a whole hundred with y'all, and I'm cool with Quentin getting the fuck out of here. Go ahead, Curtis.
My man Benny, I totally agree with you. Good morning, gentlemen, ladies, if you're on the line.
What's up?
What's up,
Welcome to the
What's
Curtis?
up,
call. Welcome
Curtis?
to the call. Another great day to be alive here in snowy Midwest. Uh, I'm exhausted about talking about quarterbacks, y'all. We're going to get a veteran. We're not going to be as good as we want to be, but that's good. Like my man Joke said, it was thank you for that speech. It was very eloquent and right to the point. You took all my points. We are here to just build what's supposed to be as a foundation. I am worried about the right tackle spot because I don't think Moses is coming back, and but we're gonna figure that out. I will not be surprised if that tackle falls. We take him, and we got both bookends. I'm proud of JJ. I think I said a few weeks ago, June and Petey could probably check with me. I think I said the first guy we're going to extend is actually JJ because he's hurt and he's going to be the cheapest one to resign. So I'm happy he came out like that. And we just going to keep building, man. Keep it positive. Yeah. Y'all have a great hump day.
You too. Curtis, I don't think, though, that Jermaine's going to be on the contract extension talks. I do think the Jets will pick up the fifth-year option, and then they can play it from there and then build off of that,
Sounds
to
good
be
to me.
fair. So they have
Sounds
him,
good to me.
for 2 more years.
Yep.
And I want Johnson to be here 2 years. I do. More. But he's an older, not that it matters. I think he'll be 27 when he's due to get, his big payday, which is a little older. Garrett's only 23, 24.
Well, it's a premium
So,
position too, Pete, and he's a legit three down edge. Like, of course, we want to see him off Achilles, but
right,
yeah, go ahead.
Mark, but it's German, and I'm not. Listen, the Jets defense majorly suffered with Johnson, but is Jermaine Johnson a $25 million edge rusher? We don't know that.
Oh no.
I
Oh
hope he
no. We're not
is.
going to pay him 25. He's not.
No, I
I
know
can
that.
predict to you right now that if he gets signed, if they let's say they forego the fifth year option, because I think they're going to forego the fifth year option and they're going to give him the same money JFM got, 14 to 15. That's what I see. And I hate to say
What,
thank
like a
God for injury,
4-year,
but I think the
$60
injury
million?
helped us.
Like a 4-year,
Yes,
60?
I think he's going to get the same thing JFM got. That's just my prediction.
That's interesting. Fair enough. Guys, if you want to come up and speak, please do so. Tomorrow, again, AFC East for the first hour. Then I have a guest coming on. We have a guest coming on to talk draft. Should be interesting. I see Shifty down there. Long time no talk. Kev, what up? Mexican J Mick. I hope to see you tomorrow morning. Hear you. I know I reached out to, I was going to reach out to you. Chris, I see you. Jim Hamill, what up? Office. Alex. All right, guys. I don't want to do all the talking here.
Well, Ground gave me a hard time for talking earlier, so I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Buck Ground. Go ahead, Office.
Apparently,
Good morning.
co-host can't help run the room, but all right. Hey, office.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
What up, everybody?
What's up, Office, man?
Chilling, buddy, chilling. I think,
You're not going to forget your take today, right? Taking a poll, right?
nah, man, I did remember what that take was, and it was simply that I do trust a lot of the thoughts, a lot of the love for football in this room, and I consider it very reputable when it comes to the game of football. I think a lot of people's thoughts, opinions, and experience really shine in this room, and I come here to hear the truth about football, and that's what I love about this space. But
Thanks,
I
bro.
think in the end of the day, you're welcome, and thank you as well. I think at the end of the day, you got new management, it's new coaching, so on. It's definitely going to take being good at their job, but it's really going to take some luck too. Like you got to get fucking lucky a little bit, right? Like you just got to get a little bit lucky more than even be good. Shit can happen. It takes some luck too.
Office,
Thank you.
thank you. I feel very comfortable saying the Jets are one of the unluckiest teams in professional sports. I mean, you go and you sign uh, a player of Aaron Rodgers' caliber and 4 snaps in, and it's done. It's a wrap. After they put Vinny Testaverde on the field, it's like, I'm sorry, man. This is a very unlucky team. And
Yo, Mark.
yes,
Yeah,
I agree, buddy.
like to further your point, brother. It is insane. Every other team that tried what we just did won. The the Rams traded for Matthew Stafford, they won. The Broncos traded for Peyton Manning, they won. The the Buccaneers signed Tom Brady and fucking Gronk and his best friend and Antonio Brown and whatever, and they won. And what do we get? We try to do the same fucking shit and we win 5 years. Like it is a sick joke. It's a sick joke.
it's crazy,
Tom, go
man. You
ahead.
can't make it up. Good, Pete.
No, Tom, go ahead.
Hey guys, how you
Morning.
doing? Good morning.
Good, Tom. How are you?
Morning.
Oh,
What's
not too
up,
bad.
Tom?
Hey, I have something to state, and then I have a question for you guys again.
Tom, make sure you're in the space tomorrow morning, AFC East in the morning. All right,
I know that
from eight
sounds good. I'm actually
from
pretty
eight
excited. I'm pretty
eight
ex-
eight to not 8 to 9. All
I'm
right.
pre- I'm pretty excited about that. So,
All right. Good.
but my thing is with Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Glenn coming in and saying, "Hey, man, I don't want you doing the Pat McAfee show anymore," and him questioning that was that might have been Aaron Glenn's only test for him to say, "Hey, we don't need him," because if you're coming into an organization and you want to build, and Aaron Glenn wants to start from the bottom up, and he wants to build a winning team, a winning mantra, and you can't get a guy to stop doing a radio show that's a half hour or podcast, whatever show on TV, for half hour and say, we want you all in. We don't want these trips to Egypt. We don't want you doing this. We want you all in on the Jets. And he says, I can't do that. I'm sorry. There's a door. There's a door. We'll be better off without you. And my question to you guys is, like PD, June, Mark, what what do you guys need for next year to be a success? What would you have to say for this team that you could walk away from next year saying this was a successful season? And I'm not saying you guys are going to the Super Bowl. I don't want to say that, but what do you guys need to say next season was a success?
Culture.
Being competitive, seeing the culture, accountability, seeing how the Jets play if they're in games. They're not getting blown out. There's a lot of factors, brother, but that's my thing. And winning games. I don't care. I don't think it's a full rebuild, but
You're good.
we
You
we could
can't
all
say
disagree.
you can't say in winning games though.
Yeah,
Everything
that's
you said was
yeah.
100% on point until you say and winning games.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Can we
Can
put the
can
three
I
to
can
four
give
win
my
tanks
Mark?
out?
Can I?
Can I
No,
answer?
yeah, Mark. Can I answer June real quick? June.
Yeah.
To be honest, I can say that. You know why?
Why, PD? Why?
Because I can. That's why. I have
Shut
a voice just
shut your
like you do,
ass
Oh,
and you know
up.
what? I'm not going into a game with a. I'm not just. I don't do that, June. That's just me. But I'll save the banter for a slower day, June.
all
Go
right.
ahead, Mark.
For Tom, look, the all-in window with
Mark, don't be 20
Rogers.
minutes, please.
Wow. So apparently you can speak with your, I have a
I'm
voice,
only
but not for
kidding,
that
Mark.
long.
I did that.
All
I
right.
did that for entertainment purposes.
All right. Tom, so look, everyone knows the all-in window with Rogers is expired with his departure. It's done. And now the whole front office is brand new. No one can expect a brand new front office to compete for the playoffs, to really to try to win a ton. So that's just how it goes when you do that in your front office. And frankly, the losing started last year. you eject your front office, 5 games in, and then a bit later, what, game 8, game 9, like that's when the losing started.
That started when we brought Salah back, Mark.
So, oh geez, here we go. Let's do the reverse.
Well, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real.
So, anyway, moving forward. All right, we'll talk about that some time. So, what are the expectations in terms of this year? Honestly, Tom, for me, I want to see competent football, which is I want to see the Jets were one of the most penalized teams in the league last year. Special teams was a complete disaster in a lot of games last year and actually lost the team games. And also blocking assignments like the run game up front was a complete failure. Missed assignments. You had guys not knowing where to go. One of the most poorly coached O-lines in football last year. Those are the 3 things I want to see get fixed. Because for Tanner Engstrand, for him to have any kind of success as a first-year OC, he needs his O-line to not be a complete disaster. Because I don't care what passing concepts he has going on downfield. If the Jets can't run the football because guys don't know their assignments up front, then the offense is dead on arrival, and Jet fans are going to be coming for Engstrand's head just like they were coming for LaFleur's head. And if you think there's
Mark, you know what's
clemency,
interesting,
by
Mark?
what? Hold on, just 1 second, Pete. My one disagreement with a bunch of stuff I heard earlier about, it's a year. Guys, we're giving Glenny. Dude, do you think that this team plays in like a small market? Like, I'm sorry, man. New York doesn't care. They want to win, and they want to win now. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the fan base. And we listen to the fan base every day. I listen all the time. And folks want this team to start winning in a hurry, regardless of all this patience. All the patience in February is gone by the time November rolls around. Okay?
Mark,
So,
I want to.
good.
Yeah, I want to see how New England runs the football next year with Keith Carter up there.
Wait, did they hire him?
I think they did. Am I wrong?
I know
Who?
Vrabel.
Can somebody look that
Yeah,
up?
I wonder if they hired him.
Can somebody look it up? If I'm wrong, I apologize, but I thought Keith Carter got hired by the Patriots. Can somebody please look that up?
I'm looking. They hired Todd Downing.
It was Downing.
Yeah, they hired Downing.
Sorry.
I don't see him hired.
What's his role?
Todd Downing?
I apologize. I misspoke
Todd
there.
Downing.
I thought it was Keith Carter.
Oh, wide receiver coach.
Todd Downing's the wide receivers coach?
Yeah, for New England. All right. Yeah, they haven't hired Keith Carter yet. I'm reading something 15 days old. I don't think they hired Keith Carter. I hope they do.
Office just come in.
I think he's the athletic director at Ole Miss now, Mark. Or was that before for Keith Carter?
Well,
and I do know that I agree with you, Petey, though. You've made it real clear, too. And I'm the same way, brother. If I'm going to the games, no matter what, like going to the game, I'm certainly going there to see a victory. I can't blame you on that end.
Bro,
I
I'm telling
respect
you,
that
fans are
wholeheartedly
gonna.
about you,
I think jokes left, but fans are gonna boo there. I'm telling you, they're gonna boo.
Yeah, man. And Mark, the only other thing was, and my team was in competition with the Jets, they got to fix the offensive line discipline, right? Like the penalties was just absolutely raking y'all over the coals, bro. That was a team that couldn't afford any penalties, let alone the second most. You know what I mean? Like my team wasn't much better. Don't get me wrong.
I don't understand why people in this space fight with me when I say the Jets need to rebuild their offensive line. They need better offensive line, and then you guys say, well, they got better at the end of the season, and then a lot of guys come in here and say you guys need to rebuild your offensive line. I'm just throwing that out there. I
get that. You're right. I mean, I think the Jets' offensive line needs a little bit of help. They need a little bit of depth, and they need one starter. But the majority of them are coming back. So real quick, Tom, hold on. Hey, you're new to the space, Deeg. What up? Would you like to speak? Would you like to speak and say some profit, Max?
Says he's connecting, I guess.
All right.
Old Diamond Dash. Look, to Tom's point about the O-line, like the pass pro was a bit better, and Fast News, he's the real deal in pass pro, particularly as left tackle. The run game was so bad that, and we were sold going into the league year that the way the Jets were going to win football games was play stout defense. You get Zerline hitting kicks, which they thought they had the guy there, right? And also Morstead was dropping punts exactly what, like, they thought the special teams was going to be fine. And then, and most importantly, they were going to run the football and do that to buy time for your quarterback, instead of relying on Rodgers to throw 40 attempts a game. And I think the Jets had more dropbacks, expected more dropbacks out of the quarterback position than most. I need to pull up those stats, but
I think that was Aaron doing Aaron choices. I think Aaron audibled at the line and did what he wanted to do, and that was drop back passes.
I know you do, but look, I think they had a makeshift. They fired their OC, inserted Todd Downing, and then there was no identity up front. And listen, when they did run the football, how did they do? Horribly. You guys missing blocks. Got two guys going one spot. People looking around. It was horrendous. The run blocking was horrendous, regardless of audibling out. But let's put it on Rodgers. I get it.
You know, they drafted a guy who was supposed to be a yak guy at the line of scrimmage, and he got 6 targets. 6.
You guys
You're
just
right.
see that
Malachi Corley didn't get the ball enough, and that's why the Jets won only 5 games. Oh, come on.
I'm saying it's part of it. I'm saying it's
1.8 yards a rush.
PD, Mark.
It was like 1.8.
Is Malachi
you guys
Corley
see
the Jeremy Ruckert of this pat? Like, if only Ruckert would get his touches.
I'm saying I would have liked to have seen Malachi Corley get more targets than Yeboah in a year. Is that fair?
I think schematically, I mean, what's he going to do? It's jet sweeps and double screens, and that's the Corley special right now. And you're expecting him to function in a West Coast offense? Sorry. Like, what are we talking about? And look, if you're gonna simplify, listen, this is the Justin Fields talk again.
Buckeye, you need to read.
Because look, if you have Justin Fields and you're going to simplify your offense,
you got a game in UK next year.
I think Mark would have extended Rodgers for 5 years. I think that was his plan.
What was that, Tom?
We're
playing in the UK.
Adam Schefter just reported that the Chargers will be playing Week 1 in Brazil. The Jets and the Browns 1 game each in London at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yep.
Jaguars in London at Wembley Stadium. Colts in Berlin, Germany. Dolphins in Madrid. And Steelers in Dublin.
Yeah, thanks, Woody Johnson. And where's Benny for looking for a quiet whatever? Yep, going back to London. Terrific. How about you just stay in the fucking States and learn how to win football games? How about the Jets do that? You don't need prime.
Well, the Jets signed a deal, Mark, to be part of the London, So
great between that and Hard Knocks.
Come
on. All right. Anyway.
But you, Buckeye, I was just going to say something smart.
Look, we're really all right. I'll leave the Corley. Look, I don't know what Malachi Corley is. I think in a more simple version of the Jets.
Mark, who did they develop though? They drafted Corley in the 3rd round. You got to get that guy had no production whatsoever, and then people are saying, I get it. Don't you have to build players up? And you're saying that this guy isn't ready yet. Like I understand accountability, but yet you're degrading the guy in front of everybody. How are you expected? I know he's a professional, but
Sorry, my earbud's disconnected. But look, I think if you were going to have,
does he play?
Look, if
wide receiver,
yeah, we don't. That's perfect, Office, because it's true. Unless you're a Jet fan, you don't even know the guy's a Jet. Like, that's how.
Yeah, I was just honest.
No, it's true. It's the truth.
Mark, do you feel, honestly, if we had, like, Marvin Harrison Jr., do you feel that Rodgers was going to target MHJ last year? Do you feel if we drafted him, if we were in that position at 4, do you feel Aaron Rodgers would have featured Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Of course he would have.
Oh, Mark, come on, man. You have not seen enough of
What?
Yeah, they
Rodgers to
would.
like ignore rookies.
Mark,
Like you have not
I
seen
mean,
enough of this.
Buckeye, they would have featured him
Oh
until
boy.
they brought in Devontae
Until
Adams.
but then they wouldn't
I
have had to
think
bring in
he's the
Devontae.
Petey,
fifth
I
best
don't even
receiver.
believe that. I don't even believe that. I think he would have
Okay.
featured Lazard.
Sheesh. I think
Mark,
if you
I
have
can't
a
believe.
what?
Go ahead, Mark.
No,
I
listen,
can't
Marvin
believe
Harrison.
that.
What? Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, we're on delay, so I can't believe that you said Aaron Rodgers improved Alan Lazard. I mean, come on.
He did. If you look at his numbers before
So
with
Mark,
Zach
so then we
Wilson,
should bring back Lazard.
no, because it's a package.
Why not?
Why
He
not?
Mark,
he
I'm
made
going
him
to
better.
sound
Why
like you
not?
for a
Because
second. Are we
Lazard is
really
not great
talking
without
about Alan
Rodgers.
Lazard, Mark? Are we really talking about
June.
Lazard?
He brought him up, not
No,
me,
he asked you who is he? Who did he improve? And you went to a stiff and said he improved
and I answered
him from a
Lazard.
stiff to he went from awful to bad.
Well, look at the numbers.
Yeah, what am I going to say? What am I
Look at
going to
his
say?
numbers with Zach
600 or
Wilson.
something? What am I going to see
Look
here?
at his
Mark,
numbers with Rodgers. He
I
was
can't.
better with Rodgers. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the guy's going into the Hall next year.
Oh
You
my
just asked a
gosh.
question and I answered it. And you don't like the answer. Just like you don't like my answer about Malachi Corley.
No,
Who apparently
that's
would have saved the
Mark.
Jets
No,
season if
Mark.
only
No,
they featured him.
Did Brees Hall
Mark,
go
that's
down in
different,
stats?
Mark.
Was Brees worse with Aaron?
Brees was worse. And
Okay. Alan
yeah,
Lazard,
let's do the cut. Yeah.
37
See,
Did our
this
catches
is
for
the
hold
problem.
on,
130.
Mark?
Hold
Hold
on.
on. Did our O line get better?
This is
Did
the
our O
problem
line
because then
get
you don't
better?
complete the
Did our O
conversation.
line get
You
better?
don't complete the conversation, and that's my problem. Because why was Brees Hall worse?
Well, our O line got better.
Like we already talked about the blocking up front and their inability. The O line got better in pass pro and run blocking. It was horrendous.
So you feel it was better the year before?
Awful. What the O line?
Yeah, you feel
before?
that Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle O line was a better run blocking offensive line?
No.
Yeah, me either.
No. They were
Thank you,
bad.
Mark,
they were
'cause
bad
I
in
was
pass
about
pro
to get
and they
you
were
for
bad.
that.
No, because they were bad in pass pro and they were bad running. At least
Well,
last year they showed
Mark,
some.
their run blocking was awful this year, to be fair.
So I said
Right?
that. That's what I said.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, can I?
Yeah. So
Mark, can I? Did you complete the conversation yet, or no?
yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, no, because I don't know. Have you changed in the last 2 months with this? Alan Lazard
About
better?
what?
Alan Lazard got better with
He
Aaron
played
Rodgers
better.
this
I'm
year?
not saying the guys. He did. He was better.
So wait,
Okay,
Listen,
Mark.
it's
so
a
wait,
receiver
Pete,
who was on the same
wait,
page
Pete, did Alan Lazard
with.
get worse?
Go ahead.
Wait, let him complete his question. His
So
statement.
Pete, did Lazard get worse?
I think he was awful this year.
So you don't think
He was better with Rodgers.
Petey, how
than he
about
was
this?
with
He
Zach
was
Wilson,
Alan Lazard.
which isn't
Yeah.
saying
That's it.
much.
Right. There you go. He was
Okay.
I
Lazard.
So
think
if he
he's
got
like a
better,
get in where you fit in type of guy. You know what I mean? Like he's one that's willing to
kind of
bend
like
to,
the
like you've
space
been talking about.
conversation, jump in where you fit in.
That's
Yeah.
right,
He's a
brother. Like you mentioned,
companion.
you suggested.
Oh
Lazard is a
God.
companion for Rodgers, and they're going to part ways with Lazard, and I'm fine with it. And to move on to the future, what do
And
you
they're gonna.
guys think about Tim Patrick in this offense?
Well, that's a Denver
Because
guy.
he's got familiarity. Well, he's got familiarity with Muji, and he's got familiarity with Glenn. And the Jets need a number two because if Fields can't read a defense, Corley can't run a route tree. So I mean, they're perfect fits for each other. But my question is, if you add Tim Patrick, and now you've got, is he a two? Like, where's Tim Patrick at in his career right now?
I don't know, Mark. I got to dissect it a little more.
Okay, because
By
they
the way,
need, listen, with Adams and Lazard and Rodgers gone, your answers, Benny said it, your answers are Malachi Corley
Xavier
and,
Gibson right now.
yeah, guys that, yeah, and the XFL All-Star team. So, like, they need, and that includes the tight end room. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever, Conklin's passable. He's average, I want to say.
But Mark, Conklin's not even signed. He's on the roster because it's dead money. So if they bring him back, then they got to re-sign him, and it's basically a 2-for-1 because they're eating his money.
Yeah.
So by the way, guys, if you're not already subscribed, we're on YouTube Live. So please subscribe to Jets Commute. Again, I've been saying this, but more stuff's coming from YouTube besides short videos. I'll be doing interviews. Mark will be helping. June will be helping. So we'll get some stuff going exclusively there. So please subscribe. if you can. Thank you. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I think it comes back to the O-line and O-line play. Like the Jets on offense, the minute you got Rodgers out of the building, that means Lazard and Adams are gone. And now you've got a lot of now you're wide and now you got folks that want to flip Garrett Wilson.
June.
Too
Okay.
many
I
for
don't
my
think
team.
June even
That's
wants
for
to
Thank
sure.
flip
you,
Garrett
thank
Wilson.
you, thank you,
I
thank you,
never
thank
think
you,
he's
brother.
Petey. I
Thank
think
you,
he's never said
There
thank
he
that.
you,
is. June, I
thank you,
woke you up.
thank you,
Petey,
thank
I
you,
think
I'll
he
go on
said
mute.
if he does not want to be
thank
here,
you.
and what Mark has always missed
Yep.
of like bringing Rodgers back, coupled with fix. I love this. Fix Garrett Wilson. I don't know what that means, and who cares about the cap? That's the one that has me tight. Of like, who cares about the cap? Fix a human and bring back Aaron Rodgers. Like, and get. Oh, my favorite is get him to listen. So that one didn't work. So all June, I think, has always said is, I think unless they can come to a decision with Garrett that he wants to be here and give an idea of like, yeah, I want to be here. I like the direction you guys are going. And it's a long shot. I think it's a long shot. Then he's saying like, let's not wait till this becomes the biggest, loudest problem in the media, because we know Rich Cimini loves to report this shit. Like, this is like gold for the media. So June's thing is, it may come to, it's too little too late. Let's just get as much as we can. I think that's what he said.
All right, I didn't know that you needed a spokesperson. This
No,
one's
no,
news to
no,
me.
no, no, no. You know
And
what it
I
is?
heard,
It's the fact that every time I say it,
okay.
you transform it
Wow.
into 3 to 4 wins. So Buckeye is explaining basically giving you the bare minimum. Right.
Yeah. So, Mark, I wouldn't say that's a spokesperson. I think it's a.
He just
I
gets
think,
all this June's
but he, but
opinion.
he, but he, he's
All right.
critiquing what you're doing.
All right, that's fine. But listen, June, the reason why I'm calling it the 3 to 4 win team is because I'm listening to all the moves, the roster moves, discontent with current players on the roster, who you keep and who you eject. Um, I'm listening to all tanking for a year to go get a quarterback in 26. Like, I'm just listening to what you guys are saying, and then I'm giving it back to you. And you don't like how I'm crystallizing what you guys are saying. I'm just hearing what you say, and I'm telling you, okay, if you make these moves, this is what it equals, which is 3 to 4 wins. Because you're tanking for
According
a
to,
quarterback in
but according
26.
to who, Mark? This is like, okay, it's fans' opinions. I'm
No,
not
it's
down with
fine.
it. Speaking of that,
I'm not down with it either.
Hector's on that train because Hector thinks we're going to stink.
Yep. And I think Mark needs to start his own team. I don't know if anybody's going to join.
The average age
I'm
of
a team of one,
that team is
Hector.
going to be like 39.
Wow.
Wait a second. I want to keep. How old is Garrett? How old is Brees, Jermaine, Sauce? 4 players. I think that should be Jets next year.
That average age would be like 24, 25,
Yeah,
brother.
Quinnen is 27. I think, or yeah, he's 27. I want him
You
to stick
you want
around.
look,
Like, I
listen,
want to protect the
look,
young core of the team, and I want them to be part of the solution moving forward because I believe in that in the 22 draft class, and I
Mark.
believe in Quinnen. That's where
So
I'm at.
Mark, are you saying that that we can't replace Brees? You don't think we can replace Brees? You don't think Brees is replaceable?
June, every player is replaceable, and in this draft with the running back, you know, we've had scouts come in or draft experts come in here and tell us that this is a really nice running back draft. And you have to acknowledge the reality of football. I like Brees, but you have to acknowledge the reality that it's a young man's position, and it's a great, if you don't have to pay a guy, and like I understand all of that, the reality. But I like Brees a lot. To say he can't be replaced, everybody can be replaced, but it's at what cost? And then you don't know, and you have to hit. What if we get a guy with the Jets? Here's the problem, because you're like, oh, replace Brees for a running back, and then it's like it's who's the actual person? Because it's so easy to make an argument. Oh, Brees versus some college running back. Well, who's that running back? What if that running back shows up and starts putting the ball in the turf more than Brees and can't catch as well as Brees and doesn't operate in space as well as he does? Like, what are we doing? Oh,
Somebody
jeez.
paying. All right,
Uh,
Kayla, what's going on? Good morning.
yeah,
All right.
that's a courtesy mute. trying to help
Yo,
somebody out. Got
oh my
coffees in.
gosh.
Kayla,
All
what's
right,
up? Good morning.
it's unmuted.
Oh,
Kayla, by the way, you made some great points yesterday from the listener section. So I was paying attention, and I actually agree with you. Someone was listening yesterday. I agree, 1,000%. Go ahead.
no, no, that was just a joke. But I was just coming up here. I just got a few different questions. Like I've heard over the past couple of days from just different Jets fans, like y'all want to get rid of Quentin Williams, y'all want to get rid of Wilson, y'all want to get rid of Brees Hall, y'all want to get rid of Sauce Gardner. What are y'all core guys going in if y'all want to get rid of all
That's
of
the
these
core.
players?
I don't want to. Not. I mean, you're saying y'all. I'm not part of
I'm
that
just saying
movement. To
different
be
people.
fair.
I done heard yes.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, yesterday y'all was talking about Quentin Williams and Sauce, and today y'all were talking about Garrett Wilson maybe wanting to be a trade candidate as well. Like these are the young core guys, but y'all got a new coach. Like last year, really we had no. I know we got a quarterback, but before the quarterback, what did our roster look like? Before we picked up a Jaden Daniels, we literally got rid of like all like y'all have core pieces, young core pieces. Like it's just crazy that y'all want to get rid of all of this talent. Like I don't get it. Y'all gotta have some type of hope. Can I get just a little bit of hope? Can I get one day where Jets fans just have hope for these new regime? Just a little bit of
Yes,
hope.
Kayla. I'm signing up for. I think the Jet. Who knows?
I'm
The
a
schedule's
Commanders
not
fan. We've
out.
been trash for over 30 years, but like y'all every day it's like y'all just so sad. Give these guys a little bit of hope. You
I'm
see the
good.
players, they want y'all to give them the energy, so give them that energy. The past is the past. You know that what they said in Frozen, let it go. Eric Glenn ain't had nothing to do with that. Y'all new general managers ain't had nothing to do with none of that stuff. Just let it go.
You know what I
Embrace the
know, Aaron?
future.
Kayla. You just made me think of something. Aaron Glenn, as a player on the Jets, was part of a winner for the most part. I forget what year the Jets drafted Glenn. What was it?
Tall, y'all keep giving
1990.
away players. Like we y'all want to get
It was
Williams away
94.
for, Wilson away for.
All right. So the Jets were bad the first 2 years, 3 years, and then they changed with Parcells. 9-7, 12-4, 8-8. Then the next year, I believe they went 8-8, and then they hired Herm because Gross stepped down and they won. In 2002, they won a division.
That's the last time we won the division, by the way. Um,
Yes, June. I know it's unfortunate.
Yep. So
Can
what
I
is the
say
like
something?
conversation
And
for all of the players you want to get rid of? Like that's the question I got.
well,
I don't.
okay, I want to say
Go
I
ahead,
said
Mark.
something,
June.
and
I didn't say y'all. I said
I
June.
I know I'm gonna purposely. So, Jude, I am excluding you from what I'm about to say. Okay, so you can have your earmuffs on it, but I'm specifically not talking about you.
go ahead.
Okay, on this one. So because there are Kayla's right. There are fans that want to eject lots of folks off the team. Kayla, in listening to rooms, this room, other rooms, timeline, and the rest of it, just Jet fans in general, um, folks will say all kinds of stuff, especially this time of year. Some do it for attention. Some do it to be first, and then they can claim victory and take the laps. I'm sorry, maybe he doesn't want me saying this, but I'm saying it. Um, there's a lot of that going on. But the truth is, and look, I've heard player evaluations in jet rooms, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck people are like, what they're looking at. I'm not sure if they watch the games. I'm not sure if they're just going on, they're looking at the stats and their scoreboard, like that. That's how they're evaluating what they're seeing on the field. Like the Jets do have a young core talent. This was not like everybody thinks that 2022 that the talent, like there's a lot of talent on the team. There's at least a young core of talent on the team that they should build around. That's a consensus opinion if you look at NFL experts that look at this, not folks that are Jet specific. So I would just caution you to, you got to be careful what you see and what you listen to, especially this time of year. Folks are hungry for engagement. They're saying I'm seeing all kinds of wild shit.
Like y'all trying to get rid of your
Um,
whole team. What's going on? Let me get two or three players. Like
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, you
And
would
for
sign
and
up for
for
that.
and for lottery tickets for folks that we don't even know can play in the National Football League, but we're going to get all this draft capital. It's circular logic, honestly. It's like get all this draft capital for players because we're going to put some fantasy in our head that this player is going to be the next big talent. Meanwhile, the Jets have real quality talent on the roster currently and should
Yeah,
instead build around it. I
yeah,
don't
Kayla,
understand.
I want to comment off of that real quick. To me, like, and I'm not, whatever other people say, it's on them, but,
See,
like June, and this is directed towards June this time. June would trade Sauce for the right offer. I wouldn't, because then you're giving a gaping hole at an already thin. You're losing DJ Reed. I want to be able to cover people, and Sauce can cover. He's not trash. Quinnen Williams, if you get rid of him, then you have no defensive tackles. I mean, you do have Leonard Taylor, who played well. I'd like to see him develop more, but I'm not trading these guys. Go ahead, June.
okay. Now, let me explain to you why I see it. All right, the core four, the famous core four. The famous core four has gotten you no more than 7 wins in the past 3 seasons, and you just now had 5 with the quarterback. Whatever all the Jet fans said, if we was to get a quarterback, we would be Super Bowl contending. Well, that was false because we had our quarterback. He did pretty decent, but we only had 5 wins. Now, when you take a deeper look, see the Jet fans' problem is they overvalue players that we have because we drafted him. And I get it, it's homegrown, all that, but these players are not as good as people think they are. Case in point, let me bring up Brees because Brees would be the first player that I would trade today. Matter of fact, 5 minutes ago.
If you
Bree-
want to trade Brees, Garrett Wilson,
Wait, no, no,
Williams,
no, no,
you
no,
want
no,
to
no,
trade all of
no,
them.
no, no, no. I only want to trade Garrett if this is, I mean, because I said 2 months ago that the guy's going to ask for a trade. And then last month, Simini came out with a report saying that people around him are saying he's about to ask for a trade. So now I don't believe in holding players who don't want to be there, especially when you're trying to install a whole new culture and a whole new scheme. If you don't want to be here, then you're free to leave. So that's why I was talking about trading him. Now let me get back to Brees. Brees has 40 NFL games played. Okay, he's elite. Out of 40 NFL games, the man has five
The
100
offensive
yard.
line look through
He,
those games.
hold on. Out of 40 NFL games played, the man has 5 100-yard games. He has 17 drop passes and 9 fumbles. And he has a problem with vision. He doesn't have vision. That's what he don't have. Now, also, when he get long runs, he has over the past year, it's been catching up to, well, over the past 2 years, when he get long runs, he gets walked at the end. And then sometimes we don't even get in the end zone because he got walked. What I'm saying is this is one of the best running back drafts of recent history. With that being said, now is the time to trade him. We're going into his last year. So instead of you going into the last year not knowing if you're going to keep him or not, why not trade him, get some type of compensation, and draft a running back in one of the deepest running back drafts there is?
Who are your core guys, June? That's my question to you. Like, we're moving on to the future of the Jets. Who are your core guys that you say like that you want to build with? That's already on the team.
Well, Olu, I'm looking at Olu. I'm looking at Olu. I'm looking at possibly the free agent that we signed last year, which was Simpson. I'm looking at. I can't really honestly answer you that.
You got 2 guys, Jude. That's your.
Listen, wait,
Oh my god.
hold on. I can't because once again, I need leaders on this team, bro, to step up. And we already went through this, and we all in agreement. Who's the leader that you see on this team? Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah, June, I'll answer that. Okay, can I
Go
answer?
ahead.
All right. So my core people going forward, yes, it's Fashanu, it's Garrett Wilson, it's Jermaine Johnson, Quincy Williams. Uh, I'm gonna throw Quinnen in there for now, even though I don't think
You
he's,
know he's not a leader. You know that.
that's that's where I was
Okay.
going. Okay, but I think the leaders right now, it's obviously Mosley. He's still on the team, but if he's not, to me, it's Jermaine
Jermaine
Johnson.
Johnson.
It's
Period.
it's John Simpson, and it's hard to pick somebody else right now. But
That's my
somebody's gonna
point.
Thomas Morstead will be a captain probably next year if he's still on the team, but he's a punter. You know what I'm saying?
But once again,
There's
you just answered the question
well, right,
that
June, but that's where Glenn's got to bring in culture guys.
well, she just asked the question of who's on his team right now, and there you go, Jermaine Johnson. You can't call Garrett Wilson a leader if the man, especially if the man is thinking about leaving. So you got to wait to see how that plays out.
Do you need your wide receiver one to lead?
No,
That's what
no,
I'm
no, no, no,
saying.
no, 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 no,
Slip.
no, no. Well, number one, I don't think he's a leader anyway. Number two, I really don't care if he is or not. If he doesn't want to be there, let's get him out.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, PD.
So
Mark, June.
What's up,
how you
Slip?
been,
How you
bro?
doing, brother?
I'm good.
What's
I'm,
up?
I'm actually able to get up and get in spaces. I've been busy as shit. Um, yeah. Anybody is up for up on a chopping block
Thank
when you
you.
have anyone. It doesn't.
Thank
The
you.
problem that we have is we get attached to players and we don't understand, or at least we're not in those rooms to understand like what the longevity, like what that longevity plan is. So when you lose, when Derrick Henry gets traded after seasons of 1,000 yard rushing, like people, well, how did that happen? Well, let's say it was age. When Saquon Barkley gets traded because of a market valuation of running backs being relatively low, everybody's like, well, how did he get on the chopping block? The natural fact is that they're in the room and they're going through evaluations and what they could get in comp and things like that. Like if what if I told you that you could get a second and a fourth for one of your premier players? Like, are you going to not take a look at that because that's a core staple, or are you going to try to figure out how you're going to carry the team and get younger, faster, stronger, and cheaper? Like, I'm not a proponent of getting rid of players that you know that are going to be good, dominant on the head coach's side of the ball, which is defense. But if he's going to get comp back to continue to grow the team with more picks, then is it a bad decision? I don't know that I necessarily agree or disagree, but that's just the nature of football when you see these weird moves that happen. Like when Tyreek Hill gets traded after 1,000 yard plus season with 8 to 10 touchdowns and shit. And so, like, sure, you of course you want to have everyone stay, especially when you've developed them. But at some point, you're going to have to trade some of them, and you're going to have to do it at their highest peak valuation, not when they're old and not when they're losing value. I mean, that's just the nature of how this shit goes. So, yeah,
But Slip, all right, Slip, real quick on the Jets. Is Brees Hall at his highest value? He's in the last year of his deal.
The last,
So what?
Brees
You
the
just
last
sell?
year. You
So you
said it.
so Slip, real quick. You just sell Brees Hall off and say, oh, we'll get a fifth round pick. Goodbye. No,
I mean,
that's not
I mean,
me.
it just depends, doesn't it? Like, do you think that you're going to be able to get cheaper with the same production at that spot?
Exactly.
I mean, that's just I'm not.
Probably not this year. I'm just
Oh
saying.
yeah,
But
I'm not
it's
saying
a
like
it's.
I'm not saying you will or won't, but that's the nature of
Mhm.
the argument, right? Like, hey, Brees Hall is coming up. What's he going to get paid? 7.5 to 10, maybe less. People are in need of running backs right now.
Yes, I'm not
So,
advocating for the Jets to re-sign Brees yet, unless he has like a 1,500 yard year
But but but
rushing
but
like
but
but
Saquon
but
but
did,
but
if you're
but Pete,
but if
or
you
but
think
higher.
Pete, you
but
just said
Petey,
it.
if you think that he's worth something, it's better
Yep.
for you to think about it now before you're in a situation like,
Thank you.
I don't know, say the Chiefs and Trey Smith and trying to figure out if he's going to be a free agent or not, or a T Higgins situation where he's going to likely be tagged. Like you have to get there first, or
Yeah, that's
you can
fair.
do what you're doing, or you're saying you're doing, which is if you really trust that he's going to maturate, then you literally pay them earlier than than rather than later. But sitting in limbo
Yes, but I
land with a
don't think.
player is not,
Yeah,
I don't think is a good
Slip.
idea.
To be fair, I haven't talked to you in a while. This is a good talk. I don't think the Jets should pay Brees so
Wh-
early. I think they should ride it
Okay,
out.
so with that being said, Petey, check this out. If he does have a good year, now he's demanding 13 to 15 million dollars, and you and I both know he's not worth that. Why would you? So
I'm
so now
all
so
right. You're
so now
right.
he walks and you get
But
Nothing
he
for
is.
him.
But if
June.
he gets
This is one of the deepest running back drafts
Thank you.
in a minute.
Thank you.
What I see y'all doing is drafting a running back and then just using Brees Hall and continuing to grow with Allen and then drafting a running back to kind of in year two be a complimentary piece to Allen. If you trade Brees Hall right now, you're probably not going to get the value that you want because it's a very deep running back
Very
draft.
deep. Very
Um,
deep.
and then you also have a running back where it's the team has to be. If I see a trade happening, it's going to be in the middle of the season where backs get injured and it's before the trade deadline and teams are trying to make a push. I don't see it coming before the draft. I don't see it coming after the draft because there's going to be so many running backs available. And then after that, like, do you care that you lose Brees Hall if you have another running back that you've drafted in a draft class? I don't think so. So like
Exactly.
that's not a piece that I necessarily see y'all moving if y'all were to move a piece just because the value's not there. You spend a second round pick on him, even if you get a fourth round pick for him, it's not worth the value when you could just run them into the ground this year, continue to have Braylon Allen, who's very young by the way,
Mm-hmm.
continue to
Yeah,
like
he's just 20 years
yeah,
old.
I
Good
think it
point,
turns
Kendall.
21 this year. So
Yeah.
like you don't have to like run him into the ground yet. You could still see what you have in Braylon Allen and continue and then maybe you draft like a speedy Devon A chain type of back that's complementary to the power that you have with Braylon Allen.
But everybody's forgetting Isaiah Davis, too. He could be a nice role running
No,
back.
no,
I like Isaiah
absolutely can. But,
Davis.
but but the point is, Brees can be replaced.
I'm not saying he can't, June. Yeah, I agree. I'm that's why I'm holding off on signing him. I just wouldn't trade him for a fifth rounder this year. I would
But
ride it
but
out.
but, but now, Pete, my thing is, if I could take that fourth or fifth round pick and
Hmm.
add them to whatever packages I might have to use next year to go up and get my quarterback, I'm gonna do that.
Uh, June, I don't think a fifth round pick is going to decide on
No, no,
getting
no,
his
no, 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 no.
quarterback
You're not
next
seeing what
year.
I'm not hearing what I'm saying. If I got to add another pick and I just happen to have a fifth because I dealt Brees, who I
Hmm.
wasn't planning on re-signing anyway, why wouldn't I do it?
I mean, I get it.
Can I say
By the
something?
way, Kendall, yeah, real quick, Mark,
Yeah.
Kendall, I spoke to you already tomorrow morning from like 8 to 9 or whatever. I expect to see you in
I'll
here.
be there.
Okay, Mac.
All right. Tomorrow morning, AFC space should be a little bit wild as long as there's no, well, there will be no personal attacks. That's a given. So, but we'll do that tomorrow. Go ahead, Mark. Say something,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. No, I think K-Mac laid it out right, which is the quality of the draft at the running back position. Uh, teams not you need two to tango, and folks want to trade a lot for a running back in a draft this rich. No, but and this is the wrinkle I really like, which is what happens if a contender gets an injured running back, and now they're willing. And June, it fits in your scenario perfectly because if you're trying to get capital for 26 to go get a quarterback, like that's how you can trade him at his highest. And let me tell you something else. I think that Brees Hall's going to have I think a lot of players on the offensive side of the ball are prepped for a bounce back. It's going to be tough because I mean we don't know who the quarterback is yet, but I saw Brees Hall uncharacteristically drop the ball. I saw you've been criticizing his lack of vision and some other. I don't know how Brees Hall in his rookie year looks better than he did last year. Like it's shocking to me. And he's another year removed from injury. Like it's kind of his struggles are shocking to me, but it's not like he's the only guy. It's not like the team has been great and he's the only guy struggling. There's a bunch of guys who struggled last year. That whole class struggled last year. Garrett wasn't on the same page with Aaron Rodgers. You got Sauce Gardner who's going through it, and then Jermaine gets hurt. Like it was a cluster. I think that these players are prepped for.
Mark, that was your best point of the day.
Well, thank
No
you.
disrespect.
Oh, you said
Yeah,
all
It,
top
it
No,
three
actually
no,
takes.
was. It
I
was.
and
felt I needed to make a
I
statement.
and I
and wait, Kendall, for Mark to even agree with you, there's progress. So
I mean, when me and Mark agree on something, that probably means we're right.
Well, yeah.
I,
Mark, can you agree to that, Mark, please?
Yeah, I
So I
agree.
don't look
Listen,
like.
man, when he's
All
making
right,
sense, of
great.
course I agree with him. It makes a
Oh,
lot
he
of
said
sense.
what he's making.
yeah.
See, he
He
had to
had he
do it.
had to. He had to. But no, I mean,
Kendall,
the only
don't you
way I
miss
see
the
y'all
old
getting
days,
value
Kendall, on
for
here?
Brees is like Mark was saying, like he has a bounce back year this year, but maybe y'all aren't winning the amount of games that y'all are expecting, or y'all are just projected for next year. So it's just like, oh, we need to go ahead and get rid of a piece before we have to pay him, and we just don't
Yeah,
want to
but
pay him.
K-Mac, quick
So like
question.
a team like, hold on, a team like I don't know, I don't know. I don't see the Chiefs doing it, but like a contender who might have lost their running back for a year or just not getting a bunch of production out of their running back might trade a third or a fourth for him in the beginning of the season. But I don't see anybody like making that trade before the draft just because there's so many draftable running backs. I think there's like 40 draftable running backs in this draft that have a draft grade on them.
Yeah, so I mean, really quick, if he declines, let's say the fifth round pick is on the market right now for Brees Hall. Not saying that's true, whatever.
Hmm.
If for some reason Brees Hall declines and doesn't meet a metric, then he's not worth a fifth round pick anymore.
Right.
That's just how it works.
Right.
And
I was
so
just more so saying I think that the only way that they get the value that he has a bounce back year, and it's the beginning, and it's the
yeah,
middle of the
absolutely.
season. But like fifth, I struggle to even see a fifth round pick unless a team is like I'd much rather bet on a solid thing. Maybe it's
I
like a
think
late.
teams would give up a fifth or sixth round pick for Brees Hall.
Yeah.
100%.
I just don't know with this this draft class because you're talking about who would go in the fifth round? Yarns. You're talking about what's that dude's name? Rocket Raheem Sanders. You're talking about what's the Clemson's running back name? He kind of reminds me of Braylon Allen, just a north south runner, physical runner.
Is it
Um
Mufafa or Mustafa or something like that?
yeah, yeah, names fuck me up. But yeah,
Yeah,
like
I get what you're saying. Like, but
there's just so there's a lot of likable running backs with traits, and you get control of them for cheap for the next 4 years. Versus if you trade a
Mhm.
fifth for Brees Hall, you pretty much under the understanding of I'm either going to pay him big money or have to franchise tag him, or we wasted a fifth round pick
Yep.
to go all in for this year.
yeah, I just don't.
I agree
I,
with that. I'm not trading Hall this year. Sorry.
I think that you just if you
I'm riding it
it's
out.
funny
Ride
because
out
you'll
with
be in a
Yeah.
situation with the Buffalo Bills are where James Cook, he's a good player, but he has a phenomenal year, and then you're like, oh no, I don't want to pay him top of the market. That's what I see from Bills fans.
I
It's
see the Bills. I see the Bills paying them though.
they're gonna pay him, but I'm just
I
saying like
just I don't see them paying them 20 million, but I could see them paying them similar to like a Saquon deal, which was like what 13, 12, 13.
14.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're up against the hour almost. Dom, I know you came up. I don't know if you have anything, but I'm gonna
Hey, yeah,
shut down in a
I'm
few.
gonna be quick. I just good morning, guys. Good morning, boys. How's everyone doing?
What's up, Don?
Um,
What's up, man?
just in line with this Brees Hall thing. Um, listen, I'm gonna say this. As a fan, Brees Hall is my absolute favorite New York Jet. Hands down, he's my favorite player on the team. As a fan, as a realist, I don't think that he's long for the Jets. Now, whether he's moved, in the draft or their draft day or like somebody mentioned into the season before the trade deadline, or maybe even if it's after the year they don't resign him, is there a possibility that they could decide to franchise him for 1 year before I would go yes, but I think that's probably unlikely. The and again, this is just more of an my understanding of how I see roster conception and roster building. I'm not kind of keen for trading. I'm not kind of keen for paying the the running back position, which I think has such a short shelf life. But in fairness to Brees Hall, like I said, he's my favorite player on the team. One, I think the one thing that we don't realize, and I hear June talking about his stats, this and that, like objectively, we have to acknowledge how horrendous the offensive system and the run game scheme has been for the past couple years under Keith Carter, who was our our run game coordinator. Um, the usage of Brees Hall has been completely bonkers. I think he didn't reach 20 carries a game. He didn't. I think there was only 6 games where he had over 15 carries. So the stats don't really play. I don't think don't give all the context for what he is. The good thing is that he's still young. He's 24. I thought that he was, I thought he looked fine after the ACL injury. I think it was a little bit of, and maybe you'd figure out what his best fit or best role is, and for the Jets. And again, I have no idea if Tanner Enstrom is going to, kind of copycat or use principles from the same style or same concepts that he had that they used in Detroit. But if he did, obviously it's a two-back, it's a committee running back. There is no bell cow. And Brees Hall could be that, Jamar Gibbs role where he gets the ball out in space. He's used in this, on the swing passes, on the screen passes, as a receiver, on the out, on the the around the ends, on the zone blocking stuff, the outside zone where he can, get to the outside, plant and get vertical and get north, and then kind of utilize other people for that bully, duo blocking stuff that happens between the tackles. So I think you can make a justifiable argument that there is a role for him on this team for this year. I absolutely I think that he will have a team. If I was the head coach, I'm running the brakes right off of him and then making a decision
Me
afterwards.
too.
But I will say this: if there is a trade, I think everyone. I'm just kind of agreeing with everyone. I think the trade value for a Jets fan is going to seem horrendously low, but you're going to get a fourth rounder at best for him. Maybe you get some. Maybe you get some sort of deal like when we traded Elijah Moore, and we upgraded a round or something like that, like a pick swap kind of thing. Maybe we get a third rounder and we give up Brees in a fourth, or a fourth rounder give up Brees in a sixth, or something like that. But the value for trading for guys in their last year, albeit still young, is just not that. It's not what we think it is as a fan of the team. And then I'll shut up.
I agree
You
with
guys
that.
think Justin Fields could read the defense?
Mark will tell you
No.
that for a
The
different
answer
day.
is no. That's
All right. Well, tomorrow, AFC East space. Dom, thanks. There'll be a guest on too, a draft guest at 9:15 tomorrow. Deuce, I see you. Kelvin, hopefully you can come on in the morning walking the dog. Ben, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up? Rock, Eddie Limage, what up? Sad Jet, Mike F. Shade, I see you. All right, guys. June, as always, thank you. Mark, thank you. Deuce, have a good day.
thanks everybody.
And Buckeye, what we doing?
Hurry up.
Buckeye, what we doing? Heck,
He's
what we
running the brakes
doing?
off Justin Fields. That's what he's doing.